Hey guys, welcome to ClintFlicks, to a special edition of ClintFlicks. And I say special because I didn't make it to a movie this weekend, and that's because there was a certain football game that was on at 1 o'clock Mountain, so I didn't really have time to fit it into my schedule today. Instead, I thought I'd share my top 10 movies of 2015. I say my, and I want to put emphasis on that because this is what I saw and I liked. There are movies like Room or Straight Outta Compton that I haven't seen yet that I'm looking forward to seeing, but I can't review them because I haven't seen them. There's movies like Furious 7 or Mission Impossible I haven't seen, I have no intention of seeing or putting on this list. So keep that in mind, and again, this is my ranking. I'd love feedback, discussion, comments, whatever on what you hear here today. I want to give a couple mentions here before I dive in. I'm a big cartoon / child movie fan. I like them all, it seems like. I did like The Big Dinosaur, or not The Big Dinosaur, The Good Dinosaur, Paddington, Minions, and there's one more I thought. Oh, the Peanuts movie. Those were all decent. Didn't make my list. Some other mentions I liked. I liked Spectre. I liked Mad Max. I liked The Big Short. But those didn't make my top 10 either. I am throwing The Revenant and The Hateful Eight into the movies of 2015, but they did not make my top of 2015. So with that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about my top 10 movies of 2015. Coming in number 10, The Stanford Prison Experiment. This was an independent film and something that really caught me off guard when we saw it. My wife wanted to see it based off some research she did in college, and we did, and it was very thought-provoking and very well done. A lot of course, no-name actors being a little more independent. The biggest actors you would even recognize are the son from Big Fish, one of the women from Cloverfield, and the assistant from Trainwreck, which was a great movie in 2015 but did not make my top 10 list. Anyway, a lot of thought-provoking, really raw and well done, so a surprise for sure, and something I really enjoyed and would be willing to see again. And with that said, one of my other surprises of 2015 was McFarland USA. This is a Disney movie that did not feel like a Disney movie. Everything wasn't a happy, oh great, lucky, everything's wonderful kind of feel. It was very gritty in the sense of a lot of hard work had to be done by everybody in this film. I'm not a Kevin Costner fan. He did a decent job in this flick. And there were other good actors. The kids who were all in there, I thought all were fantastic. And I look forward to seeing this one again in the near future. So number 8. As I said, I love comedies. I didn't say it, but I meant to. And Spy made it up there. And I think Spy made it up there more because of how it was done versus what was done. As you know, this is where Melissa McCarthy becomes a spy for the CIA, and technically she already was, she just wasn't a field agent, and that's what happens in this movie. What I really liked about it, it was really funny, but it wasn't funny because of Melissa's weight or anything about her with physical comedy. It was funny in the way it was written and the way the characters interacted with each other. Definitely worth seeing, and maybe even a good date movie. So Spy is number 8. Number 7 is another kids movie, Inside Out. I love Pixar. Pixar is always very emotional. Pixar always makes you think, and this was no different for me. I know I said The Good Dinosaur didn't make this list, but I had to put this one on just for originality. The casting was fantastic. Who else could play Anger besides Lewis Black? Seriously, who? Exactly. He was so good in that and made the movie for me, along with a lot of the other actresses and actors like Amy Poehler and Bill Hader, who two favorites of mine. So Inside Out is worth checking out if you haven't gotten there yet. Number 6 was my surprise movie of the year, Creed. I gotta tell you, I loved this movie. I like the Rocky movies. I knew what to expect going in with Sylvester Stallone's character, but I thought they put this together so well, made it new, kept it old, did a fantastic job. Yes, Sly Stallone deserves the Best Supporting Actor award for this performance. He's just kept his character going and still relates to him to this day in the sense of really making him portray onto the screen. So Sylvester should get that. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the other actor, but he was fantastic. It's hard to believe this is the same guy who played the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four, which wasn't even close to making my top 10 of 2015. Moving on, number 5, Jurassic World. This movie was great. Lots of action, lots of story, lots of entertaining value, a lot of great characters. Christopher Pratt is fantastic. I'm really liking him doing more and more all the time. But we've seen this before. This was basically Jurassic Park 20 years later, I guess, with 1992. Anyway, It was great. It was fun to watch. It's something I would watch again. I think they left it open to keep going, so we'll see where they go. But it was the same movie, so it's hard to rate it too much higher when they've done this before. But it's a formula that works. Can't argue with it. Number 4, Ted 2. I like Seth MacFarlane's humor. And honestly, these days, I don't think he's involved as much as the writing in Family Guy. But the initial Family Guy was some of my favorite, and some of that humor was reflected here. The story's original that they kept it going. I think they stretched a little bit, but the casting's fantastic. I like Mark Wahlberg in this character. I'm glad to see that Amanda Seyfried was in there. Of course, Ted is fantastic, and they just kept a good thing going. I don't know if there'll be a third one. There doesn't need to be a third one, but we'll see what they do. Anyway, Ted 2 is number 4. Number 3, before I show it, I will explain it, so don't get crazy. Not that one. Number 3, Star Wars. Again, loved this movie. This was the movie the fans deserved. They did it just right to get everybody back in on this franchise. Loved it. Can't wait to see it again. Can't wait to see it in 20 years down the line like I have all the other Star Wars. Why it's number 3, though, is, again, this has been done. I don't want to spoil it in case anybody hasn't seen it by now, and I feel like you should. But too many similarities between episode 4 and episode 7. It's been done. That's why it's not number 1. But the casting was fantastic. The story was fun. There was a lot of good stuff going on. It's kept with what we expect from the Star Wars franchise, and I know there's been a lot of debate about stuff, but overall, fantastic movie. Can't wait to see it again. Number 2, by the way, if you know me, these last 2 will not surprise you at all. The Avengers, The Age of Ultron. I love comic book movies. I'm kind of a comic book nerd in the sense that I've always liked them. I don't know a lot about them, so I can't claim that I am, but they always capture my attention, and this one was no different. The first one was better in my opinion, but maybe it's because it was a new thing then, and this is just something we've seen before again. But the plot was different, and at least was moving somewhere I hadn't seen. I'm sure if you read the comic book, you knew some of the things going on. I do know that Ultron was created by Ant-Man originally, and not by Iron Man like in this movie. Big deal, right? So anyway, loved the movie. I will own this one on Blu-ray, like I will probably the last 5, and I look forward to seeing it again. The action was great, no surprises, and Marvel keeps the ball rolling. And with that, number 1 is another Marvel movie, Ant-Man. Why was Ant-Man better than Avengers? Well, a couple reasons. One, it was a completely new story to me, but 2, Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd, and I think he's a great comedian. He's a decent actor too, but he was the excellent cast in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, he did an awesome job, and I'm excited to see him in other Marvel movies and other Ant-Man movies as time goes on. I never say her name right. Last name's Lily. Everlily. Anyway, whoever played the female equivalent here did a fantastic job as well. The girl from Lost. I'm sorry, I can't say her name. Even what's his name? Michael Douglas was a surprise. Good casting call in this. So the excuse me, acting was good, action was good. The movie made me laugh, kept me entertained. Gets the number 1 seat here in my top 10. Again, I'm open to any interpretation, thoughts, and I save the right to change my mind as time goes on. But those are my top 10 for 2015. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future.